What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for yet another Tottenham update for you, and not just a Tottenham update, but we got a bit of a loan watch as well. So keep your eyes peeled for that right at the end of the video. But first of all, let's start off with a report from a chap called Abdallah Boulmer, who is a French journalist for Football France, and he says that PSG players are starting to have doubts over Maurizio Pochettino as they are unsure what is being asked of them. The PSG board also have concerns over recent performances under the former Tottenham Hotspur manager.
It's a hard life when you're top of Liga.
I know.
You beat Man City in the Champions League not so long ago, 2-0. And yeah, everyone's doubting you. And what was it? They've won most of their games this season. I know they just drew to Marseille.
Just come home, man.
It just seems like they always want a reason to get rid of him or something over there. But look, who knows what they're thinking.
They threw Thomas Tuchel to the Wolves as well.
Just after he got Champions League final as well.
And look how he's doing for Chelsea.
Yeah, so exactly. Just because you have you get sacked by PSG does not really mean much when you have your credentials as a manager. That's what I think. But perfect timing, as Oli could be out the door. Maybe Pochettino could be in the door there. I know there's a lot of talk surrounding Man United and their new manager. We'll get to that in a minute. But obviously, do you think if he was to leave PSG, would the Spurs board pull the plug on Nuno, do you reckon? Or do you,
I
what do
think
you
they
reckon?
would panic and sack Nuno and
reckon they would?
try their hardest to go for Poch.
Do you reckon
They would have conversations with Poch. And
it would completely undermine Nuno,
of course
to do
it would.
that.
Of course it would. I think they would speak to Poch, and I think that if he's willing to come, I reckon they would. I genuinely think they would.
Would it not? Would it? But obviously, Paratici has control over these things now.
True.
You know, whatever the board think, do you think Paratici would go along with it? He picked this man, Nuno. So do you think he picked him because he thinks he's the right guy for now? So do you think he panics and goes for Poch? I find it hard to believe he would do that.
I think it would definitely be a Daniel Levy thing to do.
How do you think that? But do you not think that makes us as a club look like a complete sham, like laughing stock?
Of course it does.
Why would you think we would do that?
How many things has the board done to make us look like a laughing stock in the past?
But now we've got Paratici in there, and he's got full control over footballing matters. Mm-hmm. Like he wouldn't want to flip flop over a manager after so early on.
I wouldn't agree with it. I genuinely, as much as I want Poch back, I wouldn't agree with it in this way. I think that it would be undermining Paratici, it would be undermining Nuno, and it would just make us a complete laughing stock to do that. But I can still see it happening if Poch was open to it.
I can't see Fabio doing it. I think Fabio has so much respect in the game. I think he knows how bad that would be if he was to do that, because he has control. At the end of the day, it's up to Fabio. He has control over it. I
know, but I got a feeling that maybe Daniel Levy might override him and even undermine him even more.
No, if Levy overrides Fabio, I think Fabio would be out the door.
Yeah, I agree.
So I don't think it's going to happen.
You never know. Don't put it past Daniel Levy. He's done crazy things in the past. Sacking Pochettino, one of them. Sacking Mourinho 6 days before a cup final, another one, and many others in the past.
Yeah, but now we've got Fabio's now director of football. So
we've had directors of football in the past that I'm sure Daniel Levy's undermined in the past as well.
Potentially, I don't think he would do. I don't think I don't think it's a real possibility unless Fabio agrees to it.
Look, it's interesting anyway because The Athletic, someone actually quoted The Athletic article, I can't remember who it was, and said that Pochettino is interested in the Man United job, but The Athletic are saying something a bit different, and they're saying Zinedine Zidane is another name being mentioned in football circles, while Maurizio Pochettino, whose time at PSG is not going that well. I don't know how it's not going that well. With uncertainty, they're saying actually, is said to still admire Man United. So it doesn't mean that he's interested in the job by admiring Man United, does it?
Not necessarily, but it implies he is. It implies that maybe if they came calling, he'd consider it. But it doesn't necessarily mean he is.
Yeah, exactly. So moving on from that, Sky Sports claim that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is expected to remain in charge as Man United manager to face Tottenham on the weekend. A very similar situation to when we were facing Newcastle with the whole uncertainty with Steve Bruce.
Yeah, not quite, because I
Not the
think
same circumstances, but a similar situation.
fairly similar. I think Ole's days are numbered. I think that's clear for everyone to see. When you're getting battered like that, like they did against Liverpool, I think it's going to be very hard for him to long-term keep his job after that. I think this week will probably give him a stay of execution. That's my feeling. But is it good for us that Ole's still in charge? I don't know. I don't know if it makes a difference. I think if they got a new manager, they'll have a new manager bounce. The fact they got Ole means, they're going to have one last fight to keep Ole in a job. And either way, with the players Man United have at their disposal, any sort of motivation to get the result will probably result in them getting something out of the Spurs game, because at the moment Spurs struggle against quality opposition, and that's what we've seen. So I think, is it a good thing? I don't know. Maybe it's a good thing he remains in charge. Probably better off than a new manager.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Let's move on to some loan watch for you guys. We've currently got 7 players out on loan. And the first player we're going to talk about is Papa Sarr of Metz, on loan at Metz. He's played 11 games this season, 0 goals, 1 assist, albeit he did have a goal ruled out by VAR this week. But Metz sitting in 19th in Liga 1 point from the bottom of the league. And Papa Sarr has been deployed in 3 different positions this season for Metz. He's been deployed in the central defensive midfield area, centre midfield, and at central attacking midfield as well. But it's worth noting on Papa Sarr, the last couple of games he's been limited to just sub appearances.
So he's not starting every game at the moment?
At the moment, no. And also for Senegal...
Well, he's 18.
Yeah, I know, but he was starting the majority of games before. I'm not sure the reason for it.
He didn't start 38 games last year, you know what I mean?
I think he started over 30 games last season.
Okay, well, but he's still a teenager, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that happens. It's to be expected.
Yeah.
No teenager goes the whole whole season starting every game.
No, that's very true. But it's also worth noting that he is playing well this season, apparently, by all counts. So Papa Sarr will give you some more updates as and when some more developments happen in his season. But let's move on to Alfie Whiteman.
He started 22 games last season.
22?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought maybe it was including the cup games as well.
25 including cup.
Okay. Alfie Whiteman. On loan at Swedish side Vickers, or however you want to pronounce it. He's played 8 games, 1 clean sheet, and they are 2 points outside the relegation with 24 games played this season. But it's also worth noting, since Alfie Whiteman's been in the side, they have had a slight turn of form as well. They've won 3 of their last 4 games, with drawing 1 of them. So surely Alfie Whiteman's giving them all the push that they need to stay up in the Swedish league, that's for sure.
Exactly. So, I mean, how old is he now? I don't know how old he is.
20, 21, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. But I hope it's a good experience for him, because he hasn't get much game time the past few years. So hopefully he's having some good games.
All right, and let's move on to Cameron Carter-Vickers on loan at Celtic. He's played 6 games.
On loan.
Yeah, he's played 6 games. He's had 1 goal, and Celtic sit in 4th in the SPL. But what's been interesting, I've been reading quite a few reports on him on Twitter and from some journalists, and he's being dubbed at the moment by fans as the best defender in the SPL at the moment.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that shows the quality of the SPL. Bloody hell. No way.
Yeah.
Who said that?
I've been just seeing some reports.
But they're 4th.
Like
How is that possible? They're 4th in the SPL and he's the best.
Yeah. Well, he's only played 6 games.
How? Oh, it's ridiculous. No chance.
Sim ain't having it. Let's move over to Troy Parrott. On loan at MK Dons at the moment, who sit in 7th in the league, 2 points off the playoffs. He's played 13 games this season, 3 goals and 4 assists, but hasn't started the last 2 games for MK Dons. But he is having a good season by all accounts. 3 goals and 4 assists so far this season. Much better than any of his loan spells so far.
And I remember the MK Dons Twitter account were going wild about him a couple of weeks ago when he did some really great assists, and then they tweeted out, said... we're going to have to start becoming a Troy Parrott fan account. I thought that was quite funny. But yeah, some of the stuff he's been doing has been pretty good, but not great. He's been on the bench past couple of games. Maybe it's starting to dry up a bit, but definitely some more already than his last few loan spells, hasn't
Probably
he?
put together.
Yeah. literally.
Keon Etete on loan at Northampton, who sit third in the league. He's played 15 games, scored 4 goals this season, and he really is coming into form. He scored on his last 2 appearances for Northampton, and the Northampton Twitter account as well have been waxing lyrical about him. So good on Keon. He seems like he's having quite a successful loan spell as it goes. The last 2, Janil Bennett, he's on loan at Crewe, who sit absolutely bottom of the league. Played 7 games, got 1 goal. Jamie Bowden on loan at Oldham, who sit 21st in the league, 1 point off bottom. And he's played 9 games and grabbed himself 2 assists in the making as well. But it's interesting that the majority of our players, Papasar, Alfie Whiteman, not Keon Etete, but Janil Bennett and Jamie Bowden are all fighting for relegation this season, pretty much.
Why? What does that mean?
Doesn't mean anything. It means that they're all going into struggling teams. So maybe their stats won't be as good as if they were in better teams.
Potentially, if they could be in teams challenging for promotion.
Similar to what we were saying about Troy Parrott, when he was in that struggling Millwall side last season, not playing the style of football that maybe would suit his attributes, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a fair point. So I think maybe it makes it even better when they do contribute. I guess even more impressive when they do that. But I'm glad they're getting the experience. I think it's good when they get that kind of experience to really understand struggles other clubs go through and like how much pressure it is on them to actually. You're literally fighting for your wage kind of thing at that level. And I think it's good experience for them because, coming through the Spurs Academy, it's easy to kind of just drift along, isn't it? And not really understand what it is to struggle. So, Harry Kane had that as well, his multiple loan spells. So hopefully his experience will stand them in good stead. Yeah, completely agree. But that is our loan watch. That is our Tottenham update. Let me know in the comment section below if you have any thoughts regarding any of the topics we've spoken about today. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.